Hi everyone, John here from LookSmart Home Inspections right here in New Jersey. And today I want to talk to you about what is an independent home inspector. So an independent home inspector is a home inspector that does not get their business from third parties. In other words, we're not marketing directly to third party people, such as agents or banks or attorneys or mortgage lenders, right? Where the customer or the client finds us two ways, right? That's the crux of our business, is two ways. So we get referrals from people who are happy with us, right? Lots of those. So that's about maybe 50% of my business is from clients that refer me who I've worked for before. Family, friends, associates, coworkers, that type of thing, right? The other half of the business is that people find me directly online, right? So they're smart enough to want to go out into the marketplace and vet their own home inspector and find their own person, right? So they find me online either through maybe Google searches, or maybe they see a video or two online or on Instagram or something, and they come to me directly. They call me, and then we answer, they interview me on the phone and like me, and then we get hired. The other way that home inspectors get business is by just the referral from agents, attorneys, banks, mortgage lenders, and that type of thing. And I'm not saying that's a bad part of the business, but what I'm saying is it's good to find your own home inspector, right? You go out there, you find a vehicle that you want to drive. You do your research on this car. You spend time researching the car, the safety features, what the car offers, the engine, the reliability. You do all this research, but yet when you're when you're making an $800,000 or $900,000 purchase, you're ready to just go off a list of three that's given to you by the mortgage person or by the attorney or by the broker or the agent, right? So why not do your own research, right? Because there's a lot of us independent home inspectors who have a vast amount of experience, who I guarantee are a lot better, more thorough, comprehensive, better reports than those guys on that agent list of three, right? So why not do your own research? I mean, it doesn't hurt. You can use the list of three, but then go into the marketplace and look around, see what's available, and then make your best decision as a consumer, right? That's what we normally do when we purchase something. We just don't get, shoehorned into one or two options when, there's 1,000 options, right? Why not open the world up to 1,000 options, rather than a list of three or four home inspectors? So I think it's a great idea. Go out into the marketplace, try to do your own research, and then hire somebody who's the best fit for you. This one is for all my agents out there. So if your client decides to hire somebody who's not on your short list, a list of three or four that you guys provide, just let it be. The client has made their decision. They've gone into the marketplace, right? They've vetted their home inspector, and they've chosen who, for whatever reason it is, maybe experience, maybe their reporting style, maybe their communication style, maybe they're independent, whatever it is, just let it go, because it's your client is right. He or she has a right to hire the home inspector that they want to. They're spending a fortune in New Jersey for a home. Just let them hire who they want. And I'm asking you guys to be okay with that. Don't play any games with the scheduling, and don't make it really difficult for that independent home inspector to come in and do their job. That's really not okay. We don't make it difficult for you agents to do your job. Don't put any impediments up, when we're trying to do our job. That's really all I'm asking you guys to do, is let's all work together. But if your client wants to hire an independent person to do their home inspection, just let them do that. I mean, as an independent home inspector, we're out here with tons of experience. We didn't make it in this profession by just embellishing nonsense in a home, right? We would have been called out long ago for that. My job isn't really to embellish the problems, but it's just really to provide adequate information, realistic, reliable information for the client, so they can make a good, purchase decision, or possibly ask the seller to fix or correct, some of the issues that we do find. So for all you agents out there, just let it be. Let us work together, and you do your job, I'll do my job, and everybody will be great. and the client, our client will be very, very happy. But when you put up walls and try to make it difficult for, somebody different to come into the house to do the inspection, that doesn't look good for you. It's unprofessional, and your client sees right through that, frankly. I also want to talk to you guys about limiting your contingency, your inspection contingency, in terms of just structural and environmental. It's a big mistake. I wouldn't do it. Let me just tell you what happened the other day. So I'm doing this house. It was from the late 1960s, okay? Late 1960s home. Client, they just, to get their offer accepted, they waived everything except structural and environmental, right? Turns out the home, late 60s, has aluminum wiring all throughout the house, right? I find a ton of aluminum wiring circuits that have not been corrected, okay? Then the question to me is, well, is that environmental? No. Is that structural? I don't think so. That's the problem that we have with limiting your offer and limiting your inspection to just environmental and structural. And I think that's a big deal. If you're going to limit yourself, and I get, okay, you want to limit nothing cosmetic, right? So we're not talking about, loose hinges. We're not talking about scrapes and scratches and painting and loose trim, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about big things, right? So why not talk to your real estate attorney and limit the stuff to, say, material defects, right? So a material defect would be anything that a home inspector would find in a home that affects the habitability, the safety, or the value of the house, right? That's what we define as a material defect in New Jersey. So why not put that into the contract, right? Why are you just limiting yourself to environmental, okay? Aluminum wiring, not environmental. Structural, I don't think so. Maybe you can make the case, but you probably need a great legal mind to help you make the case that that's structural. I mean, you could make the case that that's safety, but you waived safety, right? So you waived safety, you waived electrical, you waived plumbing, you waived heating and air. Everything is waived. And so now you're buying a house that probably needs, $35,000 in, electrical corrections. So what do? My advice to you guys buying a house, talk to your attorney about how to intelligently write that contract so you're protected as the buyer of the home. Just don't go in and let the attorney say, or let the agent, right? The agent, right? They want to get your offer accepted, right? Oh, so now, to get our offer accepted, we can't put that. So all your protection, you might as well just go flush it down the toilet, right? Just like these people. I have no idea what my client's going to do. Who knows? So be careful when you're writing these contracts to get your offer accepted. You always have to think ahead, because you're only in that house for 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. You don't know what's going on with that house. There's no chance, right? Unless you're in the trades, unless you're a home inspector, unless you are a contractor, something like that. If you're just a regular person, with a regular out of the trades job, you have no idea what's going on in that house. So please be careful when you have your attorney and the agents write these contracts that are limiting you to everything. Let's talk a little bit now about the inspection contingency period, right? So customer calls me usually after their attorney review. I would suggest calling a home inspector when you're in attorney review, right? Let's get our due diligence. Let's pick our guy when you're in attorney review. This way, when you're out of attorney review, you can quickly schedule something. When you get out of attorney review, that day isn't the day you should start trying to find and vet your home inspector, right? The attorney review period is probably going to be about 3 or 4 days, right? That gives you time to do your due diligence, to go online, to find a home inspector, to make your phone calls, to interview inspectors, find out what they're all about, right? I would suggest you doing that rather than waiting until the day that you come out of attorney review and then you're scrambling to find a home inspector, because generally you only have, sometimes it's 5 days, sometimes it's 7, sometimes 10, sometimes 14. But what I want to suggest you guys do, and this is a negotiable piece of the contract. And some agents may disagree with me. I know you're trying to get your offer accepted, and they're trying to make your offer, all glowing and wonderful, and but the more time you have, the better you are going to be, right? So you guys who are putting 5 days in your contingency period, so you come out of attorney review, and then you have 5 days to do the home inspection, to get the home inspection report back, and then to ask for any corrections or any remediation. And then if you have to get an additional inspection, say of a chimney or a piece of structure or something like that, there's just no time to do it. So you're really boxing yourself into a corner. If possible, and I pleading with you guys, if at all possible, and you can, try to get 10 to 14 days in your inspection contingency period, right? That gives you enough time to get the home inspection, to get any other ancillary inspections performed, and to kind of digest what happened during the home inspection, so you can intelligently put together a list or figure out if you're going to purchase the home or not purchase the home. If you have a 5-day window, there's no time. You're right against it, and I certainly wouldn't suggest that. Back in the day, and it wasn't that long ago in the day, our inspection contingency periods were 10 days. That was the minimum. They were typically 14 days. So you had 2 weeks to get your home inspection and any due diligence that you wanted to do in a home. But now I'm seeing that clients are calling me and they saying, we just got to have an attorney review and I need a home inspection in 5 days, within 5 days. And, then they really want the home inspection in 3 days because they need the other day or so to come and digest what we saw in the house. So look, good home inspectors, we're going to be busy, right? So, be careful if a home inspector you're calling and they're available the next day or in 48 hours. Well, what does that tell you, right? I mean, that should tell you something right there. Good home inspectors, we're going to have a calendar. We're going to have clients on the calendar a week out, maybe, 10 days out. I mean, that's typical, right? So when you are negotiating this inspection contingency period, the more time that you can allow for yourself to do your due diligence, the better off you're going to be. So it's something really not to take lightly. You really want to make sure that you maximize those days. And I understand you're trying to get your offer accepted and you putting in all of these sweeteners, but you're foregoing your protection, right? And that's, to me, is a big deal. Is buying a house, spending all that money, is that worth giving all your protection as a consumer away? I guess if you're really desperate and you want to get a house and your circumstances, they are only allowing you to buy a house in this market. But if you have any time and you're in a house now, just don't do it. I mean, just make sure as a consumer you have the protections necessary, because you're spending an awful lot of money in this market. I want to talk to you guys about a little bit about how much service work in a home costs today. And when I'm doing home inspections in homes and with new buyers, especially new buyers, and you guys are touring the house and we're finding this and that and the other thing wrong, and you guys are asking me how much this or that costs, and I can generally provide a ballpark, roughly. I'm not a contractor. I don't do the contracting work other than my own home, right? I do my own house, but I don't do contracting for others. That would be a conflict of interest here in New Jersey, right? So just home inspections. But I kind of have a sense of doing this for 20 plus years about how much stuff works, how much stuff costs. And I have to tell you, I've never seen it more expensive. Everything is just crazy expensive that you do in a home. And I don't think that some clients really understand that. So you're spending the $800,000 or $900,000, and you probably have a mortgage, because the majority of people are not going to be a cash buyer unless you're a big institution or a commercial client. But generally, people like us, we have a mortgage. and you're adding on to that, that sum with all the stuff that's, wrong with the house in a lot of cases. And, if you ask me how much something is, I'll certainly tell you. But I think you need to try to really digest how much that is, right? So if I'm telling you a roof is, maybe $13,000 to $15,000, and then a new HVAC system, heating and air would probably run 11,000, and the deck, which is completely shot, maybe $18,000. These are real. This is real money. Like, this is, right? Where does it? You just can't print your own money. Although, it would be nice, but you can print it, right? You have to earn it, invest it. You have to get the money from somewhere, borrow it, I guess. But I want you guys to really understand how much things cost today when you buy a house. And it's just not the cost of the house, it's the cost of maintaining that house that is just, it can be very, very expensive. And I want you to do some research, and I want you to understand before you go ahead and plunk down, for a big mortgage, that, hey, you know what, this stuff is going to break eventually, right? If you have a 20-year-old air conditioner, yeah, I mean, that's not going to last forever. Your water heater's 18 years old. Yeah, I got to tell you, these companies, they want to sell water heaters, right? Your roof, not going to last forever. So if you need, some of these big ticket items in a home, you really should understand how much these things cost today. Because I think if you did, you would really, put yourself in a better, maybe, financial position. And if you can certainly afford these things, that's great, all power to you. But if you can't, just really be careful out there today, because everything we do is now exponentially more expensive than it was, say, 3 or 4 years ago. And there's a lot of variety of reasons for that. And I'm going to hold some opinions to myself. But that's just the reality of the marketplace that we're in right now. So please understand, it's just not buying the home. It's actually maintaining the home and the systems in the home and repairing the stuff that is going to break down the road. And you can do that one of two ways. I mean, you can be somebody like myself who just does their own repairs, right? Who loves to learn and who's willing to do that type of thing. But that's me. I like that. Sometimes people don't like to do that. And then you're going to have to write checks. And you know what? Those checks can really add up. So I just want you to be cognizant of, how much the maintenance is on a home too. Just don't get caught up with the new home kind of fever. Understand that there's a lot of costs underlying the house maintenance and upkeep that I just want you guys to pay attention to. Just want to thank you guys for watching the video, hanging in with me this long. I appreciate it. If I was able to just help one person, that would be, be worthwhile. These videos are not, there's no production here. It's just me and a cell phone. But, I think I have a lot of knowledge, and I want to give that, to people. And I hope that you guys find that helpful. So, thanks very much. And I'll keep them coming if, you keep watching.